Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is your CareerFoundry onboarding webinar. My name is Carly Evans. I'm a program advisor with CareerFoundry, and I am joined today by
Nick. I'm Nick, one of your student advisors, and I'm very happy to show you a couple of tricks and guidelines and other advice on how to make your student experience go smoothly with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, we're going to be hosting today, and we'd love to get to know everyone else. So if you don't mind, over in the chat, if you can, just pop in where you're logging in from, what course you're taking. We definitely want to get to know everyone. The student community is a pretty strong one here at CareerFoundry, so absolutely, definitely want to welcome you all. Hey Nick, it looks like I cannot change the slide. Can you hit that for me?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. I'm not
Yeah.
sure why that's not working for me right now, but
All
so thank you so much, Nadia. It's nice to meet you. Um, in this webinar today, we have several different things that we want to cover just to make sure that everyone is kind of on board with us and you know where to go and who to ask and what to do. So we're going to walk you through today. First of all, and navigating your student platform. We'll talk about the program structure itself, the curriculum and content, how you'll be moving through that. We'll also work with or talk about your tutor and your mentor, some of those support individuals who will be working with you along the way, student support team, career support, and the job prep course. And then, of course, your student community that we were talking about just a minute ago. There's a chat over there. Thank you so much for logging in and for telling us all where you're coming from. Definitely put your questions in there. There's also a Q&A session or Q&A section over there. So we'll be checking those out. Any questions that you might have, pop them in those chats. If you don't mind, though, don't send the questions directly to Nick or myself. It gets a bit confusing when we're seeing them pop up. So put them in the chat. We'll try and address them as we get to those sections in the presentation. And then at the very end, we'll have a Q&A session as well. So absolutely, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that we'll be able to answer some questions for you, get you some information, and yeah, we're ready to get started.
right. Great. So for the next section, I'm going to walk you through the platform itself so you can become a little more familiar with how everything will be presented for you, how you access your course, and how you interact with your instructors. So just give me a second while I pop my screen open. Just let me know when you're able to see it, Carly.
We got it.
All right, awesome. All right, so when you first log in, this is what you're going to be looking at. This is what we call the student dashboard. The dates here, this is just an example, so you get a little more familiar. But everything is going to be personalized for you once you are able to log in. The first section that you want to be checking out is going to be the orientation section. This is a little course that teaches you everything you need to know about the learning experience with CareerFoundry. So whenever you go to this course, you'll be presented with different sections under one achievement on how to navigate through your learning experience, how to apply different study skills that can help you with the program, how you submit tasks, and how you get help with your instructors as well, alongside how you join the large CareerFoundry community that we have built for you. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Secondly, you're going to be looking at the particular timeline set for you. The main date that you want to have into account is that little graduation cap date, but we'll cover more about this timeline in the next part of the webinar during program structure. Another thing I want to highlight is going to be the course prep view. This is alongside the orientation, one of the most important packages or sections of the dashboard that you want to check out. This is just going to give you information about the course itself. It presents to you the overview, the duration of the course, the project that you'll be completing, and most importantly, it tells you the tools that you're going to be learning, you're going to be using throughout the particular course or program that you are taking. So if you don't want to check anything else out, just check out the course prep because it has the information about the different discounts for the different tools that you'll be using throughout the program. Now, whenever we go to the course itself, you can simply click on go to course. This is where you see everything that is the course. So the first thing that you will see is going to be the overall course progress. We'll cover these again in the program structure section. And then what you want to focus on is going to be right here. This is the achievement overview. This is the course achievements. So technically the different chapters and the different tasks that you'll be completing throughout the program. As you can see, there's a list of exercises, and they all have been marked as approved. That's the mark that you want to get for the submissions that you make in order to complete each exercise successfully and move on to the next one. So whenever you want to access your particular course, any particular exercise, you simply click on the one that you want to go to. So let's start with number 4, which was the one that got last approved. In here, basically, is the same for each exercise. You have a menu of options that navigate you through the different sections of the exercise, and then you have the exercise content itself, where you can add nice highlights for any particular information that you want to recall later. You can add a note. You can share that note with your mentor and tutor. So that's a great feature. Whenever you finish the exercise, you are going to be completing a task. So you have 2 tabs here. You have a directions and a submission tab. So obviously the directions are going to be the steps that you need to take in order to submit an exercise for this particular as a file for this particular exercise. So if you need some inspiration or some sort of better understanding of what is expected out of you, you can scroll down until you find the student submissions. In here, this is a work that has been submitted by other students, so you can get an idea of what's required of you for you to complete this task. If you scroll a little bit up, you're gonna come across the rubric system. This is the categories that your mentor and tutor use to provide you feedback on the submissions that you've made. As I mentioned earlier, you want to get those tasks approved in order to complete an exercise successfully. Whenever you're ready to submit your task, you'll go to the submission history. In here, you will have a chance to submit it. And then whatever feedback your mentor and tutor provide for you is also going to be listed here. So this is going to be your communication, your main source of communication between your instructor and for completing a particular exercise. But you also have a different feature for accessing your mentor and tutor. That's going to be here. If we look over to the right hand side, there's that little icon of an envelope. And in here is where you communicate with your mentors and tutors. So whatever instructors you've been assigned to, they'll be listed here. If you want to expand this view so it's not a little window like we see here, you can simply click on view all messages, and that would open the window up into a full frame so you can have better access to the text. Now, another great feature that you have here in the course itself is the chance to book mentor calls. I'll explain what mentor calls are later in the program. Whenever you want to book a call with your mentor, you simply go to the book now option. In here, you have the same thing. So if you look at this dashboard menu, it's always visible no matter where you are on your dashboard. So you can always access, you have a quick sort of link shortcut to this booking calendar. Whenever you want to book a call with your mentor, you simply scroll through the available options that are presented for you, select the one that you think works best, and then from there, make sure that you confirm the booking of the call so that your mentor is informed. Be sure to schedule these calls 48 hours in advance, and then if for any reason you need to cancel them, be sure to do that within 24 hours. And again, if you don't see any time here that sort of works for you, you can always send a message to your mentor via the in-platform messaging tool. So you can let them know, like, hey, I'm available these days at these times. Is there something that we can arrange, perhaps, that we can meet on that at that time? Another thing I want to show you around is going to be the forum. This is where you get assistance from other students pertaining to a particular exercise question. So if you are going through an exercise and you have a question about the content itself, you can check out the forum, as there may be answers to these particular questions asked by another student. So that's a great resource for you. And then if you have any sort of questions about your student experience pertaining to anything that I've shown you here, about the content, you can get help from us. First, just click on the little icon at the very bottom left, And then here you have frequently asked questions by other students, so you can find answers to the most common questions that we get asked here at the Student Advisors team. But if there's something that is not listed here, or you need more support with any particular question, you can always ask your advisors. Simply click on this option, and this will open a little window for you where you can send us an email, and we'll get back to you within 2 business days. All right. Another thing I want to show you is going to be the settings. So this is where you control sort of like the back end of your account. So this is where you control your profile, you add your name, any other social media you want to share with your instructors. You also have the accounts page. This is where you set your email and your password. The certificates is where you see all the certificates for the courses that you have completed within the program. Then you have the perks. This is another great tool. This is where you come redeem all the tools that are available to you as a CF student. So you check out the course prep, you see the tools that are listed there, and then you come to this page, settings, perks, and then you see what's available to you and the instructions to redeem all the different tools that you can utilize throughout the course. And then lastly, you will have, if you are a private paying student, you will have a payments billing section here that you can simply access to check out your credit card information or download invoices for the particular payments that you are completing for the tuition. And lastly, I want to walk you through the referrals page. So this is where, if you want to earn up to $500 for referral, you can share this unique link with your friends or whatever person that you think could benefit from studying with us, and that way you can get a payout after they qualify for this referral point. All right. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Go back to the slides. And then just remember that you can share that link with your friend if you like. There's a unique link that you can access from settings referrals, and then you can see that this is a unique link and can be applied once the referee passes 30 days on your course. And then the next thing I want to just remind you of is the takeaways from this presentation is that the first thing that you want to check out is going to be the orientation and the course prep packages. Again, the tools that you're going to be using throughout the program are listed inside course prep. So you always have access to those sections whenever you log into your dashboard. If you haven't done so already, if you are about to start the program or starting it next week, you can get in touch with your mentor and tutor right away. We recommend that you do that as well. We'll talk about the reasons why a little later. But you can remember to contact them via the in-platform messaging tool. And then if you need any support from us student advisors, you can check out the little floaty icon at the bottom left and get in touch with us. All right. So I'll pass it now to you. Actually, this is my section as well. All right. So in this section, we're going to cover about program structure really fast. I just want to check if there is any questions on the Q&A. All right. We don't have any questions for the platform section right now. I do see a question from Jasmine, but we'll address that question a little later in the program. All right. So when it comes to your education with us, there is a program structure that you'll be following. But the main thing that you have to remember is that this is a remote learning experience. So we don't really have classes or a set schedule that you follow. You create your own study schedule. You create your own time. You talk to the instructors. Everything comes from you. We provide all the information and all the support you need throughout the program. But it is you that is in charge of completing the course within the allotted amount of time that we have given you. So as you have the power to set your own schedule, this increases your freedom and flexibility because as we know, some of us have responsibilities, family, medical, professional responsibilities that require us to be a little more flexible with our time. So this is why you'll be studying within 50 to 20 hours per week. That's the part-time pace set for the course. There is a program timeline and there are target dates that you want to meet in order to stay on course and on track for course completion. But the main idea is that you sort of organize your schedule, you work with your mentor and tutor to see when are you going to require time from them to help you out. If you get stuck, then you can actually reach out to your mentor and tutor as well to help you feel a little unstuck. And then now we're going to take a look at the actual program timeline. So here we're seeing what we saw earlier on the dashboard. This is going to be the target dates. So for most programs that we offer, it's divided into intro and immersion sections. Some of the programs will have a specialization If you have a specialization, you will know, because once you log in into your dashboard, you will see that that specialization will have a graduation cap next to it. So that's the date that we consider the end date. That's when your content and mentor and tutor access ends. So you want to make sure that you follow the schedule given and complete the exercises within the allotted amount of time for you to hit that target, that end date. Of course, things happen. Some of us may fall sick. Some of us have surprises in our life that prevent us from, investing our time in the course. So whenever you foresee that something is going to take you away from your studies, be sure to get in touch with us, student advisors, and let us know how we can help you, and we can work the ways there's way for you to stay on the course and complete it, even if an extension is required. The next section is going to be the course timeline itself. This is actually the number of tasks, the number of weeks that you have for a particular course. So the top line is the number of weeks. Depending on the course that you're taking, these changes. So you want to check out that on your dashboard. This is just an example. It's not going to look the same for you as you see it here. It's going to look very different, again, depending on the course that you're enrolled in. Usually for the intro course, there's about 4 weeks. And for the immersion course, there's about 12 weeks. Maybe I need to double check that number. But you can see the number of weeks there, and then you can see if you are on track or not, because just little green highlight lines, they would line up. So in here, we're seeing that in this particular example, the student is running behind because those lines are not matching. But if they were matching at the same location, top and the bottom one, that means that you're running at pace. So that can give you a visual idea of how you're progressing to the course. So if you foresee that there is a number of weeks have passed and you're still stuck in a particular exercise, you're not able to move forward, then that's a good time for you to book a call with your mentor and let them know exactly what's happening, what's making you feel that you're lagging a little bit behind. Of course, like I mentioned, there are things outside our your control that will prevent you from studying. But if it's something pertaining that to the actual course itself or the platform or whatever, just let us know so that we are aware of it and we can provide you with the tools that you need to be successful. The next section here is going to be the weekly submission goal. Oh, one thing I want to backtrack a little bit is the target date. So as we saw earlier, each course has a target date and then the main end date. This target date, as its name indicates, is just a target. You don't have to meet it. You can go over or finish a little earlier if that's possible for you. But the main thing is to kind of, if you hit this target date on the date that is given, then you'll be on track for completing the program for the end date. So you can plan your schedule around that with that idea in mind, so that way you're always staying on track. Another thing that can help you stay on track is the weekly submission goal. This tells you like how many tasks you have to include or you have to submit in order to stay on track by that target date. So you get an idea also how much study time you have to invest in order to meet those requirements. So whenever you start in the program, we'll talk about mentor goals in a little bit, but I just want to interject here that if you want to get a better understanding of how much time is expected of you throughout the different courses, so you are always staying on track with the timeline given, it's a good idea to just like chat with your mentor, have a call with them and be like, I just want to understand what's the logistics of the program, what am I studying, what do you foresee is going to be like the longest, what's going to take me the longest time to complete, where am I expected to invest more time to complete a particular exercise or tasks. So having that understanding in your head from the get-go can help you foresee how you're going to set your study schedule to meet the demands of the course and the demands of your daily life. So that's just a great idea for you to meet with your mentor. All right, so speaking of that, let's see if we have any questions over the program structure or the platform walkthrough. We have a question from Felicia about what if I have submitted a question to the student advisors and get no response in 48 hours. Felicia, sometimes, we have a high volume of emails, so they may take a little bit longer to get, but you can send us another one. And I can also, notate your name and make sure that we can get to you as soon as possible. So if you want to just pop on, you can send me a private message with your email information, and then I can help you figure out where the answer is. All right, and then we have another question from Brian. What happens if you're ready for immersion before the target date? All right, that's a great question. So if that was to happen, that means that you have more time in the program to complete the next course. So if you finish immersion earlier, then you have those extra days. The specialization course starts right away, but then you will have until the end date, which is that nifty date that we saw here. So let's say in this example, you finish on like November 1st. You finish immersion on November 1st, 2023. So you still have to January 13, 2024 to complete the program. So you will have 13 extra days to complete that. The end date doesn't change. The target date changes to the day that you graduate from the course or the day that you complete the course, if that makes sense. All right. And with that, I'll pass it on to Carly, who will walk you
Thank
through
you.
working with the instructors, of course.
Yes, 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 yes. It is, like Nick mentioned earlier, it's 100% online, right? It's asynchronous, but I think where we stand out is that it's very engaged and engaging, and you're working with individuals throughout the duration of the program and then after. And two of those will be your tutor and your mentor. They are your instructional team. You'll have some other individuals that you'll be working with, and we'll talk about them in just a few minutes. But your tutor and your mentor are the ones who are going to be helping you learn and apply. They are assigned programmatically. So depending on what program you're in, you're going to be working with individuals who are coming from those backgrounds. They're very diverse, and we are global. So your tutors and your mentors, your student advisor, your career specialist, your program advisors, we're all over. We noticed in the chat earlier that everybody's logging in from all over the world, and that's where our tutors and our mentors are as well. Very diverse cultural and professional backgrounds, and they're bringing those experiences and insights with them, and that's what's helping kind of make that full picture, right? When it comes to the tutors and mentors, again, first and foremost, they're assigned programmatically. So if you're working with, if you're a UX designer, then you'll be working with other UX designers. If you're in the data analytics program, then you'll be working with data analysts and so on. And then because we are so spread out, we have to be very strategic in how we're assigning them. So we look at your time zone and where you're located. And our goal is to connect you with tutors and mentors who are in your time zone or right around in that time zone. Those are who are doing business in your time zone. So they might not be directly there. They might be one or two over from you. But we don't want you to worry about communication patterns or anything like that. Again, it is very student-centric and student-specific, our support. So again, we have to be very strategic when we're assigning them to the students. But they are, your tutor and your mentor are going to be the same individuals that you're working with throughout the program, right? So establishing that relationship or that rapport in the beginning, like Nick mentioned, is very, very important. You want to share your goals, you want to share your visions, you want to share your experiences, because all of that put together is going to be what makes you a UX designer or a data analyst or a full stack web developer, etc. So let your tutor and your mentor know kind of who you are. The more they know about your story per se, the better they'll be able to help you and support you. And then also going to Felicia's questions, if you do have any issues or questions or concerns with your tutor and your mentor, you will have another individual that you'll be connecting with, and you can bring those questions to your student advisor, or you can reach out to Nick and let them know kind of what's going on. And that way we'll know how to better kind of help that relationship. But let's talk a little bit more about these individuals and how they're going to be supporting you. And I can change slides now, so thumbs up on that. Yeah. Okay, so your tutor is the curriculum expert, right? They are going to be that day-to-day support for you. And I use that term metaphorically because with our structure, you're not having to necessarily log in every day, but they are that kind of go-to individual. Nick kind of showed in the program itself, in the portal, all of the individual lessons. So the courses are broken down into achievements, the achievements are broken down into tasks. And each of those tasks will have a homework assignment that you'll submit. He showed you where you can go to submit that. And you submit it to your tutor, and your tutor is going to review it based on that rubric. They give you feedback. You have conversations with them. It is text-based support with your tutor. So you're going to be messaging them through the student portal itself. There's that little floaty button that you can click on. We also do use a chat app, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, where you'll be able to connect with other learners if you wanted to. We ask that any questions, thoughts, anything having to do with your program, going to your tutor and your mentor, try and use that portal feature first and foremost. Use the messaging feature in the portal. We want to make sure that we're responding quickly. We want to make sure that we're responding appropriately. We don't want any messages to be lost in a chat. So definitely try and use that first. But when it comes to your tutor, you're going to be getting those responses within 24 hours. They have a 24-hour response window. If you're logged in and it's kind of those standard, daytime hours and you're messaging your tutor, you'll probably get a response pretty quickly because they're going to be logged in and they're going to be working and looking for those messages. If you're logged in at 2 a.m. your time and you're messaging them, you might honestly get a response because sometimes they're logged in at random hours. Sometimes we're all logged in at random hours, but you'll probably wait until a bit later in the day before you'll get that response. But they do have a 24-hour response window, so you're going to be getting your questions answered. Your tutor, again, is kind of that first go-to. The tutor is coming from the industry. Typically, our tutors have about 2 to 3 years of experience when they're coming to us. So that you're getting that industry relevant feedback. And that's super important when it comes to these programs. So any questions, any thoughts, definitely reach out to your tutor. You can also save some of those questions for your mentor. They both are helping you in the learning experience, right? In the learning process. So you don't necessarily have to reserve one question for the other or something like that. You can ask both of them questions. But again, the tutor is kind of that curriculum expert. Now, you'll be working with your mentor as well. Your mentor is a bit more senior in their experience. Usually they have about 5+ years of experience as they're joining CareerFoundry. And again, it's programmatic. So you'll be working with lead designers or analysts, developers, product managers, etc. You'll be able to message them just as you do with the tutor, but you'll also have video calls with your mentor. It is a visual relationship with them, and that is because the mentor is the one that's going to help you with your projects and your portfolio development. So it is very visual. You need that interaction. You need to be able to log in and kind of walk them through your designs or your thoughts, etc. And they want to be able to work with you on that and give you feedback and suggestions. With the mentor, they have a 48-hour response window. So theirs is a bit of a different kind of support and structure. And when it comes to booking the calls with them, you can do so through the portal. There's that little feature, or you can click that little telephone button and it'll take you to their calendar. You do have to have 48 hours in between those mentor calls as well. So let's say you have a call on a Monday. Well, the next time that you'll be able to book a call would be that Wednesday, and so on. The calls can be anywhere from 5 minutes to a full hour, so it's a great resource. And of course, the conversations are going to be about the curriculum, about your projects, etc. But more than that, the mentor can also talk to you more specifically, again, about your experiences, your goals, how to translate maybe some of your previous work or studies into something that would be relevant for this new industry, figuring out maybe what a good entry point would be. With these programs, there's so much diversity in job opportunities and industries. So if you have kind of certain goals that are more industry specific, talk to your mentor about that. That is, again, when it comes to the tutor and the mentor, those discussions are to be more than just about the curriculum itself. It's going to be about how you are going to become the best version of a designer or a developer, etc. So along those same lines, when you know that you're going to have those video calls with your tutor and with your mentor, take a few moments and write down your questions, organize your thoughts, maybe send those to your mentor so they know how to prepare for those calls. You know that you're going to be getting the most out of those conversations, if that makes sense. So definitely, oh, and there we go. I should have clicked a little bit earlier. Sorry about that. But yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the mentor calls, you definitely want to let them know kind of the goal of that particular discussion, share your topics. And if you have that feedback for them from prior conversations, that might be something as well. Bring it all kind of back to your goals again. Be very open, be very honest, be very communicative. The more that they know, again, about who you are, the better they'll be able to help you. And I know that it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's the truth. You know your story. And if you can share that story with us, then maybe we'll be able to kind of help you finish off those chapters and get you into that new industry. If you ever have any questions, though, please don't hesitate to reach out to either your tutor or your mentor. Sometimes the timing might be a little bit, different depending on what's going on. So if you're not getting a response, and you typically do, let your student advisor know. Let Nick know, let us know how we can, again, support you. We're all human. We're all adults. We know that stuff happens. So just let us know, I guess, how we can best help you. Okay, and let's check and see if there's some questions that are more specific to your tutor and your mentor calls, because I know that there have been some in there. The mentor calls are included in the program. Yes, you're not paying extra for any of that. Would one have to change mentor and tutor if the time zone changes? Okay, so really good question about the time zones. That's a good question. The goal of the tutor and the mentor really is to work with the same two individuals through the duration of the program. That way you kind of have that full circle. Everybody's working towards that same kind of goal. But if you're moving in the middle of the program, if you wanted to, and it was going to be a concern for you, we can look at reassigning tutors and mentors. It kind of, I guess, more so than anything, just depends on when you might be moving and then how you might be handling that time zone change. Because if it's towards the end of the program, you're in, the last few weeks of it, then maybe it's just best to kind of stick it out. You might have to get up early for a couple of calls or something like that, but if you're moving you're going to be enrolling and then moving pretty quickly, then maybe we should look at assigning a tutor and a mentor for that kind of wherever you're going, if that makes sense. And for those first few weeks, again, the timing might be of concern, but then when you move, it'll be fine. So when all is said and done, it kind of is very student specific. And let your student advisor know, and they'll be able to kind of help you figure that out. Talk with your tutor and your mentor as well. Like, hey, this is what's going on. I might be moving, and they'll be able to help give you some insight and advice. As far as video calls with the tutor are concerned, that's just the way our structure is. The tutor is text-based communication. The mentor, again, is text-based as well as videos. That's just kind of the way that we structure it. There's, oh goodness, there's a lot of questions about the tutor and the mentor. Well, okay, that's a job advisor. So we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. Unlimited mentor calls, no. There's a certain amount of calls that are specific to the programs, whether you're studying as a private student or if you are a voucher student, a Bildungsgutschein student, it just kind of depends. So if you're wondering about that, you can reach out to your student advisor. You can, message Nick. You can message me real quick. We'll figure it out. But it's not unlimited calls. It does depend on if you're a private student or a voucher student, though.
To interject there a little bit, as long as if you're a private student, as long as your timeline is active, meaning that you haven't reached that end date, you have access to mentor calls as long as you book in 48 hours in advance. So you want to keep that in mind whenever you're working through the program. If you need to meet with your mentor, just make sure that you are still an active student, and then make sure that you book the call before that end date, because that end date is when that mentor and tutor access ends.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All right. So in this section, back to me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Student advisor. So the student support that you get from us, um, as the first bullet point on this slide says, help you with anything regarding your student experience. So if you have course specific questions about the actual exercises or achievements that you're completing, those questions you want to direct to your mentor and tutor. Again, like Carly mentioned, you can send those kinds of questions to both your mentor and tutor. You don't have to wait for the other. Just know that the tutor is the main go-to person throughout the program. But if you are, you have any timeline issues, you are falling sick, you have a family emergency, you have a work that's preventing you from focusing on your studies, or anything else that prevents you from actually, sitting down in front of your computer to complete the program, just let us know, and we can, student advisors can help you find the best way forward. If you have hit a snag, it happens. Life just throws curveballs to us all the time. So if something's happening in your life that's preventing you from, again, focusing on your studies, you can send us a message and we can help you figure out the best way forward by showing you tips or showing you examples of what you can do to actually get back that motivation back, so you're back on track. And also, if you need just some time management, there's a new baby in the house, there is a new job, you're moving to a different place and require a little bit of organization, just hit us up, let us know what sort of situation you're in, and then we can share the best time management tips for you. Again, you can contact us via the portal. So there's that floaty icon that we saw earlier, or you can reply to any of the emails that we send your way. All right. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Carly, so we can talk about career support.
Yes. So you have a tutor, you have a mentor, you have a student advisor, and you'll have a career specialist. Once you are halfway through the program, you finished 50% of the curriculum, you're starting on that last half, you will have the opportunity to opt into the job prep course. The job prep course is something that is supplemental to the curriculum for the intro and the immersion, etc. It goes along with it. It's included in the program, but it's all of that co-curricular support, right? All of that kind of job prep that you would be doing as you're readying yourself for employment in a new industry. So for your intro and your immersion, etc., all of those tasks, you'll be submitting those to your tutor. When it comes to the job prep course, you're working on that with your career specialist. The career specialist is going to be assigned to you, and you'll work one-on-one with the career specialist. And again, it's all of that co-curricular support. So they're not going to be able to help you when it comes to any of the actual curriculum questions, but everything that goes along with finding a job and getting ready for finding a job in the new industry. So some of the things that you'll be doing with them: let's update your resume or your CV. Let's work on interviewing skills and mock interviews. It's very different, right? A lot of the times when it comes to tech-based roles, it's very skills forward. So the conversations are a bit different, and now you're presenting a portfolio. So the interview prep is a good portion of that, and it's an absolute benefit. working when it comes to like networking opportunities, social media reviews, making sure that everything is geared towards this new industry, that everything is linked to your portfolio, that everything's linked to LinkedIn, excuse the redundancy, just making sure that your online presence is geared towards this new industry. You'll be doing video calls with your career specialist as well, especially when it comes to the job prep. And you'll be able to message them, through the portal, again, the little or the chats. It is text-based and video calls when it comes to the career specialist. But all of those conversations, again, everything is leading up to that job search. That's the goal of the program, right? Is to learn these skills, to build the portfolio, to become competent and confident in who you're going to be, and then to get that job in the industry. So the career specialist is kind of that bridge, right, between the program and then the job world. So they're working with you through that last half of the program, and then after, as you enter that job search period. It's very important, again, to be open and very communicative with them. These are my goals. This is what I'm looking to do. This is what I've done. Maybe we can translate some of these skills and experiences and figure out what a good entry point into the industry would be for me. Again, if the more that we know about who you are, your story, so to speak, the better that we'll be able to help you as you move forward and move through the program, right? It's all about, again, getting that job at the end. So we've said it a few times, but use that floaty icon. Over communication is not a thing for us. We want to know what's going on with you. We want to know how we can help you. When it's an online learning environment, you very much have to take advantage of those methods of communication. You're not alone in this. There are a lot of people out there who are supporting you and cheering you on. And again, that whole goal is the job at the end. And I think we do have some
We
job
do have a
search
question
questions.
from Claudia, was it? No, I'm sorry. It was question from Claudia.
Yeah.
Is it likely to get a German speaking tutor or mentor if you live in Germany? As Carly mentioned, the program is English based, so you will for sure be assigned an English speaker. Um, if you're in Germany, you may be assigned a German mentor and tutor, but again, we assign it based on your time zone.
Mhm.
So it may be that the alignment works perfectly that you get a German tutor, but even then, the education that you'll be receiving will be in English. So just have in mind that English is the main language of the course throughout the program. All
Right.
right. And then was there another one?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of questions about job prep, actually.
There are a few.
Yeah. I can
um,
help you with a few if you want to take one right now, or I can take one.
I think I was going to piggyback off of that about just the job market. It was
Okay.
Nadia who mentioned just the differences in the job markets. And yeah, the different markets are very unique. And so, like Nick mentioned, when it comes to the career specialist, we do look at your time zone. So it's somebody that's going to be familiar with your market, those little intricacies that we all know exist. So yes, when it comes to the career specialist, we look for someone who's going to be familiar with your market and is going to be able to help you navigate that. But also keep in mind, if you're open to remote opportunities, we do encourage students to kind of check into a variety of different job openings and opportunities that might be out there.
Yeah. I also wanted to add that when it comes to the particular market that you're going into, it's best to work with your mentor and tutor into that because they are the ones that are involved in that industry. Your career specialist, while maybe involved in that industry, their focus is more geared towards preparing you for the job interview, regardless of where you are. So it's their job is to polish all your skills to make you look like the best candidate for whatever job that you are applying. So if you have questions about the market that you're entering, then those are the questions that you can direct to your mentor and your tutor. You can schedule a call with your mentor to solely talk about that. so that way you feel better informed with someone that is actually inside the industry doing the role that you're studying or preparing for. All right. So I think that's the question. We have a question from Jasmine about can you give me an estimate of the salaries that your students are receiving when they complete all required tasks? As we mentioned, everybody's all around the world, so there's not one set number that we can provide with, but this is a question that you can actually bring to your mentor and tutor. So you can actually schedule a call to talk about these questions. This is a perfect example of why you want to, book a call with your mentor. They have an understanding of the industry, and they're the ones that can guide you and say, like, all right, so you're based in this country or you're based in this different geographic location. I can give you information on what you can expect on the market over here or over here, depending on the understanding and the wherever your mentor is located. So this is a great question again to book, a great reason for you to book a call with your mentor. All right, and then should we answer the other two or should we wait? How are we doing on
I
time?
think let's just so Matt asked if we've had students that have found jobs while they're in the program. Yeah. We have. You don't necessarily have to wait until you're done to start applying for jobs. It's when you're ready. So absolutely, you can start looking when you're in the program.
Yeah, and on that also, as I mentioned, the career specialist is the one that's going to polish you to become the best candidate. So it really depends on how prepared you feel to go the job, in the job hunt. It can be a little daunting when you're first graduate and when you may not know all the tricks and tips, but this is up to you. It's a very personal decision. You can consult it with your mentor and tutor. You can consult it with your career specialists. You can consult it with us student advisors, and we can give you, pointers. But ultimately, it will be up to you to decide when you would feel prepared to go on the job hunt. Yeah. All right. And the other one was from Claudia. Does career support also help if you want to become self-employed? Yes. Yes. I mean, technically, if you're self-employed, you're also going to be presenting yourself to different clients that you may present your work and want to, offer your services for. So obviously, these you need preparation for that, and this is a great way to, talk to your mentor about it from the beginning. So if you know that you're going to be self-employed and that's your main goal, just make sure that you tell that to your mentor and tutor. Whenever you get to the job prep, you'll be able to talk to the career specialist and let them know exactly your goals, and they can guide you in that direction as well. All right. Okay. So I guess that covers that. I'll pass it back to you, Carly, so we can talk about the community.
Absolutely. So I think I mentioned a bit earlier that there's a lot of learners that are out there. You're not alone. I think at any given point in time, more recently, we have about 3,500 students that are enrolled. And so, yes, a lot of us that are out there. And your program is your program. Your work will be your work that you move through with your tutor and your mentor. But we do encourage participation in that student community. We find value in it. There's no group work that's required for the program. But again, you never know who you might meet along the way. You don't have to know each other to support each other. So you can give those virtual high fives. And it's a phenomenal opportunity for networking. So absolutely. There's a very strong student community that's out there, and you'll be able to connect with them and interact with them if you want to. We do use a chat app. We use Slack. When your classes are starting, you'll actually you'll get a lot of emails, but one of them you'll be invited to download Slack, and through there you can connect with other students. We have a lot of different channels. There's Monday motivation. There's study tips. There's a lot of different ways to kind of stay connected and really kind of bring a bit more to that learning experience. There's different discussion forums where you can kind of check in and check on those discussions and see what people are talking about. There's newsletters that CareerFoundry will do. We host different events throughout the year as well. Just different guest speakers, alumni that will come back and present, employers, etc. The tech industry, you were always a student of your craft, right? It changes quite frequently. I'm smiling because we're constantly going through and updating our curriculum because it changes that quickly. But along those same lines, that's another reason to kind of stay engaged. You want to make sure that you're staying on top of everything, that all of the updates you're aware of, anything that's going on you're aware of. That's just kind of one of those things about being a student and then about being an employee in an industry. If you find that you want kind of an additional layer of support or accountability, there's study buddy opportunities. Again, just different kind of webinars and workshops that we'll offer. CareerFoundry, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it is very unique with how engaged it is. So you could very well move through the entire program without necessarily speaking or communicating with another student, or you could speak with another student, with another learner. Again, you never know who you're going to meet along the way. You never know who or what might come from those encounters. So it's all about networking. When you're in the program, these are your peers. When you're done, they're your colleagues. You're going to have developer colleagues, analyst colleagues, product manager colleagues that are around the world. So it's nice to know that you're starting to put down roots here and now. But yeah, very active student community that also actually translates into an alumni community as well. So stay engaged, get engaged and stay engaged maybe is a good kind of a way to look at it. But as we're coming to the close of this presentation, thank you so much for hanging in there with us. I know this is a lot of information to go through, but just kind of to recap our conversation today, definitely check out that orientation. You'll get if for whatever reason you want to kind of rewatch or you have some additional questions, you'll get that information. Go in, log in, check out your portal, explore, make sure that you understand where everything where everything is, where all of those resources are. Take some time, talk to your tutor and your mentor, reach out, book a mentor call, introduce yourself, again, kind of get those goals, those question and answer sessions down. When it comes to the job prep course, you'll have the opportunity to opt into that when you are halfway through your program. So just know that that's coming down the pipeline. We encourage all students to consider that. It's not a requirement, but it is a recommendation. It's included. And when the goal is the job, it's nice to have that support in the meantime. And then again, just the support that's available to you with our student communities. Slack, you can log in, you can chat with everyone. There's different opportunities. We have discourse forums, social media, connect with everybody. Take a moment, go on to LinkedIn, make sure that you're updated there, connect with CareerFoundry, link with us, and then you'll be able to start linking with other individuals who are in your industry. Networking is a real thing. And so the earlier that you can start that, usually the better the outcomes, right? So definitely consider that. But we are kind of towards the end now, and we've been answering questions kind of along the way. Thank you so much for everybody popping those into the chat and the Q&A. But we do have a few minutes left here. So if there are some questions that didn't get answered or something that just came to mind, go ahead and pop that in the chat. Anybody? Maybe we've done a really good job today. All right. No. Did we get everything from the chat over there? All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone attending. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So I guess thank you, everyone, again, for your time today. It's a great pleasure to meet you this way. And then if you have any questions that we didn't answer or you want to rewatch this, there's going to be a webinar recording provided to you. just be sure to fill out the survey. This can help us make this webinar better for other students in the future. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your day or evening wherever you're located. Thank you, Carly, again for hosting with me. See you guys next time.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, bye.